In a gentle way, you can change the world. Mahatma Gandhi. I was 5 years old when I had my first crush. At the age of 5, I knew that I really liked this girl named Janet. Janet was a very close family friend, and she's someone that I saw often. I would try to impress her by showing her my really cool Hot Wheels car collection and my ability to dunk on a 4-foot Fisherman Price hoop. Whenever I knew she was coming over, I knew that I had to dress to impress. I knew that I liked Janet a lot. I knew that I liked Janet so much that I knew that I liked her even before I knew how to rhyme words. And rhyming words for me at the age of 5 was a huge problem, as I thought that blue rhymes with lake. True story, but that's not the point. As Janet and I both grew older, we began to lose communication. And eventually, we lost all of it when I moved up to Seattle. I never forgot who Janet was or what she looked like, even if she forgot who I was. But, however, in November of last year, my first crush, the girl that I liked even before I knew how to rhyme words, committed suicide due to depression. And the saddest part about this was not her first attempt at suicide. Janet had been dealing with depression for a very long time, but never had access to the proper treatment that she so rightfully deserved. Many of us here have been lectured about what depression is, what causes depression, how to help someone cope with depression, but we never think that we'll ever have to apply it. We never assume that or think that someone so close to us, that means so much to us, ever feel the need to end their own life. So here I'll be talking about how there are too few people receiving the treatment that they need when they are dealing with depression. I will outline the rise in suicide rates and depression's linked to it, the people not receiving the proper treatment they need, and ways we can help out. In today's society, we're so caught up in things like politics, climate change, equal and fair treatment, that really this rise in suicide has really gone unnoticed. According to Emory statistics, 34,598 people die from suicide each year. It's the third leading cause of death amongst ages 15 to 24, and it's the 11th leading cause amongst all ages. This next graph, beautifully provided by the Child Transit Data Bank, shows the rates of death per 100,000 for the youth 15 to 19 for homicide, suicide, and gun-related death. 5.9 per 100,000 was the rate for suicide in 1970. And fast forward 44 years, we've seen that number increase to 8.7, while homicide and firearm-related death have both gone down. According to the article by Curtis Warner, increase in suicide rates in the United States, the rate has increased by 24% per age-adjusted group. In addition, this is a graph provided by the CDC, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, and this shows that the rate for which women commit suicide in the United States per 100,000. You see the gradual trend. It's the same. Not the same, but it increases from 1999 to 2014 in all age groups except for 75 and older. But I would really like for you to take a note at these values. For now, we'll be looking at the males. Males are 4 times more likely to commit suicide than females. And they show a very similar trend, that 75 and older is the only one that's in decline as of right now. 2/3 of people who commit suicide are depressed at the time of their death, according to Emory statistics. But what really is depression? To us, the Oxford Dictionary, what many of us think, the Oxford Dictionary describes it as describes it as feelings of severe despondency and dejection. But this is not entirely all true. The Encyclopedia of Health Communication better describes it as an emotional affliction and psychiatric illness. Depression doesn't have just a single cause. According to the National Alliance and Mental Institute, it shows that trauma, genetics, brain structure, and even alcohol and drug abuse can lead to depression. The National Alliance on Mental Illness also describes that 30% of those who are drug abusers are depressed as well. In addition, not many people receive treatment though. Less than 25% of those receive proper treatment under the APA guidelines. And even though treatment isn't 100% effective and can definitely be improved, it's better than receiving no treatment at all. Treatment right now is shown to be 80% effective according to the National Institute of Health. And the ways that they can treat are through psychotherapy, exercise, faith, and prayer, but it really just depends on the person. person, because as we know in biology, no one person is the same. Not all people are the same. And we see that one of the main factors is lack of access. In the article Disparity in Depression Treatment Among Racial and Ethnic Minority Populations in the US, Margarita Alegria finds these really startling statistics. 63% of Latinos, 68% of Asian Americans, and 58.8% of African Americans who have depression do not receive the treatment they so desperately need. While non-Latino whites, 40.2% of them receive the treatment they need. There's a huge disparity between that, which is 20%, but still, even for the whites, 40.2, that's way too much. The factors into the study that they found were the socioeconomic background and really the ability to afford the proper care. In the article, just over half Americans receive care. They found a group of professors from UCLA, Harvard, and Michigan found that the main factors were money, cultural background, and education. But I really want to key in on the money part. There are a lot of people who have insurance here that they can easily afford mental illnesses for their depression, mental illness care. And then there's other people who do not. And for those people, they have to either go private or pay a lot of out-of-pocket. But the even sad part is, even if you do have health insurance, it doesn't mean that you can afford care. As many health insurances don't even acknowledge and cover mental health illnesses like they would physical illnesses, which is a huge problem. In addition, too few people receive the proper care they need. So what can we really do to help? Well, we can donate to the National Alliance on Mental Illness. This group is an amazing group. What they do with the money that they receive is they fund things like research and public policy. What they do with the research is they look for other treatments to help people because, like I said before, not everyone is the same. In addition, they perform these free clinical trials that people who are depressed that can't receive treatment, they could sign up for free. And you know what? If it works, that's great. It's better than receiving no treatment at all. In addition, they fund public policy. I believe that this is the most important. I said before that there are some health insurance companies that don't cover mental illnesses like they would physical illnesses. But what the National Alliance on Mental Illness does is they help and they fight these insurance companies for that right, for those people. In addition, we could help here at Pepperdine University. The Pepperdine Counseling Center provides these are great support groups that they provide here for those who need it, and they would love for you to help out. In addition, you can advocate for a step-up talk for the negative stigma on depression currently, and to help those who are not educated about what depression really is. It is our goal to really raise awareness on what depression is and realize how severe this is. The more we do this, the more we get out and we can reach this message to all people, the more funding we'll get to the National Alliance on Mental Illness and places like Pepperdine University where they help out people. And the more that we show how serious it is, the more people will get helped out. So what did we really learn today? We learned that depression is not just a status. It's not something that someone can just snap out of and choose, hey, I'm done. In addition, we learned that there's been an increase in suicide rates recently, and depression has a very strong correlation with the number of people that die because of suicide. And also, we've learned that not enough people are receiving proper care. Proper care isn't 100% effective, but it's really better than nothing. And what we need to first get those people into treatment, and then we'll start worrying about improving the treatment. But really, we can't prevent the number of people who have depression, but we can prevent the number of people who kill themselves due to depression. So it is time for us to raise awareness about this issue, because depression should not be taken lightly. But in a gentle way, you can help reshape someone's world. Thank you.